Breaking down Estacado sports. This is the Matador Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back to the High School Fan Zone on a Monday night. As promised, we're going to transition to Estacado in the Matador Fan Zone, and we're talking girls basketball because this group had a really good year last year. Maybe flew under the radar a little bit. Everybody got overshadowed by the folks on 50th Street a little bit. Understandable. Devin played on great teams at Coronado, so she knows that doesn't happen all that often to have a Lubbock team do what Monterey did. But Estacado, maybe a little bit off the radar, had a really good season. You guys went 3 rounds deep, Devin?
2
rounds deep. But that's been a common theme for you guys the last several years. You guys are making progress each and every year. If you're watching on TV, Devin Griffin to my far left, I'm going to let her introduce her players and then have them talk so you recognize them by voice like we did with the Coronado volleyball players. You lose some key girls from last year, obviously, but you have a lot back. You've got a couple of young ones between us right now. Let me let you introduce them real quick.
Okay. This is Addie McNeil. She'll be coming back as a senior next year. And this is Azaria Street Reed. We call her Street. And she'll be a junior next year. You'll be a senior? I could have sworn I had one more year with you. She'll be a senior as well. And these 2 girls they're really special kids. They bring they're actually the only 2 kids in off-season right now. Everybody else is at volleyball. But just from being around them, they're the kids that everybody loves to be around. And fortunately enough for me, they're the 2 hardest workers at that. So it's great when you can have 2 great kids, which is why they're here with me today, 2 great kids who are extremely hard workers, who you love to be around, who excel in everything. I'm sure if they went out and played volleyball, they'd be a great addition to our volleyball team. But they both did great things in track this year. They both did great things for us in basketball. And they're the type of kids who develop. They've gotten better game by game, even sport to sport, just the way that they compete. Coming back from track and being extremely competitive, they came back, they were like, hey, we're ready to work out. We're hungry. What's next? So I'm happy about the direction that we're going because this is our leadership.
Well, you said something that jumped off the page right then. I'm sorry, I'm not dismissing you or ignoring you here, I promise. But when Addie came on during track season, she was talking about what she'd done and how and the track coach said, she just showed up and just said, I want to run. Just showed up and started running fast and got to regionals.
Yes, sir.
And
regionals.
How many events?
All three events, yes.
That's a lot of people may think in track you just show up and just start running fast, but Reginald talked about the techniques that she picked up on quickly. That's kind of what you were talking about, that she could figure out how to be good at what she does.
Yeah, she's a super competitor, and that's huge to have.
And I know from watching you guys last year, she was a big key to your defense. She may not have had the hugest stats when they jumped off the page, but I know when I was putting together the All-City team, the stuff you sent me, her defensive stuff was impossible to ignore. And just watching her in person, she was very key on your defense.
Both of them. I think for us, they did a lot of tag team work with guarding the other team's best people and being the front of a press and being expected not to get tired. So, and I feel like a lot of those stats don't show up on paper, just how many times you were in the right spot or how many times you went to trap and somebody else got the steal, somebody else got 2 points, or just those types of things. These kids, they sell out. They completely sell out. And that's what both of these girls do for me. And defense is huge for us. It's the focal point for us.
It's the thing.
Yes, and I can say wholeheartedly, these 2 understand that.
Grab that microphone, Azaria, because Coach just said some nice things about her, so you have to respond here, especially what she said about you guys defensively, because watching you, I think 3 or 4 times, and Coach knows this, there were a couple, I happened to watch you against Friendship and happened to watch you against Monterey. That probably wasn't fair because those were 2 pretty good teams. They weren't those, you didn't have your best nights against them, but then I watched you against Liberty a couple times, and I watched you against Leveline. You guys defensively, that's like almost a sickness. You guys take that serious.
Yes, sir. We take it very serious.
Why is that? What motivates you so much on that side of the court, I guess, not the ball?
Defense is like the key to offense. Easy defense is easy offense.
So when she said you two tag team, do you compete in practice that way too?
Yes.
I can imagine it gets pretty intense. And you play for a coach that knows a little bit about that from when she played. We're coming up on the break here. We're going to talk more about Lady Matador basketball when we come back in the Matador Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Estacado athletics. You're listening to the Matador Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back into the Matador Fan Zone. We are talking Estacado girls basketball. I want to look up the standings here in a minute, but I've got the all-city team called up, and I wanted to make sure I get this right. The co-newcomers of the year were Kalani Johnson, a freshman, and this young lady right here. Hey, was this your first year playing basketball, Addie, or just first year on varsity?
It was my first year on varsity.
You didn't look like a first-year varsity. Neither did Kalani. But what Coach was just mentioning this. Sometimes going from middle school or freshman JV ball to being varsity, there's a big difference. What was the big difference for you? What did you have to learn from day one when you started practicing?
I would just say, like, everything seems so sped up. Like, there wasn't any time to be wasted. Because, like, with freshman and JV, like, you have time to learn plays and adapt to things. And it was just like, you got to be on it with varsity.
I've been to your practices. I want you to answer this because you Coach didn't realize you were a senior, which I guess that's a good sign. She must not be tired of you.
No.
I've kind of watched some of you guys' practices. Coach does not waste a minute. You guys are moving and doing something, and her practices are very methodical and efficient. Why do you guys kind of feed off of the way coaches in practice?
It's because, like, what she says is how we practice, is how we play, and we need to be more efficient. So, yeah.
And I enjoy watching her practice. And she's told me this, that once in a while, Tony Wagner will stick his head in. When you've got that guy walking into your gym, you want to make sure you pick that brain. I mean, you said that when he walks in, you make sure that if you've got a question, you ask him.
Yeah. I'm always like, does this look good? What do you think is going to happen? And then he'll tweak things for me. I think that's the best part about where we are, especially in East Lubbock. Like, there's a big family situation. Like, the boys will come in, we'll walk into their practice, they'll be in the weight room. It's just being around one another and trying to be like, hey, we want to be great too. We want to work hard. We want you guys to support us the way everybody supports you guys. And I think with seeing both practices, they get that perspective of, like, it takes work. It takes genuine work every single day. You can't cheat the work because the work is what's going to show.
And you guys have some motivation because you guys had a great season, but your guys got to the state semifinals, rolled through the playoffs until they met that monster team that they got beat by. You have that as motivation. You guys have known the Monterey girls for years. You saw what they did finishing on top. How motivated is this group, Addie? You lose some players, but you have a lot of girls coming back that are hungry after being in the playoffs the last several years. How hungry is this group?
I say we are really hungry because, like I said last time, there's just a bunch of unfinished business. And, like, you could just tell in the locker room after our last game, like, with all the emotion and everything, just seeing, like, Street and D, like, our faces, we just wanted to still play, like, and be out there. So I say we just are hungry for it now. Like, that's all I can really say.
All right, so they're calling you Street. I need you to explain this for me.
So, Street is my dad's name, and he, like, played sports and was a big impact on the east side.
What was his name?
His name is Antoine Overstreet, but he goes by Street.
Devin, did he play for WAG, or did he?
I'm actually not sure. I know he's always around and all of that, but I've never asked Coach WAG if he played for him.
I don't know. He never told me. He said him and WAG, like, kind of, like, grew up together.
Okay.
So they might be closer to the same age.
Football or basketball guy?
Football and basketball.
Did he play for Lewis Kelly?
I do not know. He never really told us.
I'd imagine probably
Lewis
around
Kelly
was
one of my favorite people on God's green earth when I met him. When you walk into the boys' field house, he's the guy on that wall where it says "Just Win," and that was Did you get to meet Lewis before he passed away?
I did not. I've been here, so I know all the stories about him, but I did not.
You played for a legend at Coronado.
I did.
You've coached against a legend that just retired at Monterey.
I did.
And I texted you before you got here. One of your semi-contemporaries is now the new Monterey coach. We're going to talk about that the last segment here. Lubbock sports are in really good shape, but Estacado has a lot to do with that. These girls have a chance to keep building on what you've established. What do they need to do this summer to get back to where you guys were and start maybe taking another step?
I think they need to believe that they are as good as they are. I think sometimes it gets kind of questionable for them, like, am I? Can I? And they can. Anything that they want to do. But, like we just talked about before, it comes with the work. But I think our confidence is a little too low. I think their individual confidence in themselves is a little too low. Because I believe they're better than they think they are. And I think that could, once we get to that point to where we walk around with a little bit of a chip on our shoulders, like, hey, we're good too. We deserve to be in the conversation. We deserve to be on the front page of the paper. We need all of that. Then that's when they'll see it. That's when it'll come to light for us.
Well, let me help you a little bit, girls. You were this close. You stubbed your toe against Snyder late in the season. Otherwise, I'm looking at the standings in your district. Otherwise, instead of a two-way tie, it would have been a three-way tie. And you guys would have gotten one of those gold balls that y'all talk about. Somebody, they would have had to given out 3 of them instead of 2. You beat a really good Liberty team twice. They're going to be back. They're going to have all their girls back. Levelland's going to be Levelland. You get to add a new rival, a new city team. Memorial jumps into your district. Coach is right. You guys were really good last year. How good can you be?
We can be better. Way better. I feel like with our new, kids coming in, we could be better than we was last year.
You sound like somebody who's about to be a senior. You're calling those high school freshman kids. So.
Yes.
Addie, what about you? How good do you think this team can be next year?
I feel like we can be really good, especially like with the people we have coming in and just like their work ethic too. Like I feel like we can be good.
Just got to keep you getting faster on try. You're not coaching having to split time with you with other sports because once basketball's done, you can go get even faster than you were last year. What was your fastest time in the 100?
12.2, I'm pretty sure.
And what about 200?
It was a 25.5.
And you got to regionals, and how close did you get to getting past that?
Regionals, so I actually re-injured myself. So.
Well, now I feel like I'm a bad luck charm because you can't leave, right?
Yeah.
It might be because you're doing it again in that chair.
Yeah, sorry.
It might be because you made yourself seasick. So that's going to wrap us up in the Matador Fan Zone. We'll come back after the break in the Western Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.